Hey everybody, Jason from Redbeard Rebuilding. Wanted to come to you and give you a little more information about this project. So far, this is what we got. Let's see. So, we're starting to get there. Mark this so I know where I'm at. I am doing my best to evenly sand this piece here. I'm actually going through and measuring it with a gauge, so that way I know I'm not going too thin. But really, it's pretty simple what we got going on here. Kind of just stick it. Get this out of the way a minute. Kind of just holding it in here with my legs right around my knees, keeping it down on the ground, and you're just coming at it with this sandpaper. I wish it was a little more interesting than this. You do a bit, return, so yeah, it's really not all that interesting to watch me do. And it's going to be a slow process. Do a little bit every once in a while when I get a chance. I don't know if we can tell in this video. Right now this is kind of faded up, but there's a straight line going right around. You can see it with these spots here. That's where the two shafts met. So once I work my way down, I know where to stop. And when it comes to the other end, we have this, which is just a big bolt and some sandpaper on the end. It's self-explanatory. This is actually measured out. I cut the sandpaper so that way it's the same basic length of that tube for the sleeve. That way I'm not going farther in than I need to. Like just going in here like this and doing some inappropriate looking things to the end of this. The big thing is to make sure that you keep moving the tube. You don't want to just sit here in one spot and stay there. Keep moving the tube around. Kind of change the way you do it a little bit every now and then. And you slowly work it around. I think I just got to make sure to bang it out every once in a while, so everything comes out. You just go back through and slowly check your work. We're slowly gonna get there. This is not a speedy process. What do I just do with my marker? I think if I tried to do this any faster, I would be afraid of sanding. But we're slowly getting there. We're now about 1.5 inches or so in. I'll get my gauge back out and measure how we're doing. And we'll get there. I have no plans on paint jobs or anything right now, right? It's just figuring out if it's gonna work or not. I do know that because of the fancy pattern that the Nordics use for their carbon fiber, I'm gonna do it like I did the Rutgers javelins, where the front half is gonna be a clear coat, or maybe a spiral and a clear coat. We'll see what happens with that. The back half is concerning when it comes to diameters. If you watch the video where I repaired the OTE countervail that was bashed up in the tail, you will remember that they had a good layer of like a filler on top of this. Not only was that to smooth it out and to fill in the scratches that you can see here, the white scratches were all from that filler. I don't see if I switch it around. I don't know if you'll be able to see the textures as I spin this, but there's definitely a texture, just the random textures in these things, in this end of the shaft anyway. It's not cracks, it's not broken, it's just the way it formed. I'm not sure how they form it, but it's just the way it happened. So I will need to do that. And in doing so, sand, measure, because we need to make sure that it matches up with the right diameters to this. I don't remember if I've gone through and explained how those work, but if you've gone to an invite or a fancy higher end event, or a collegiate event, professional event, and you might have seen them check in javelins, they do multiple measurements on these jabs. They started off at the grip and they measure in the front, right at the front. And that is your DO, and they base it off of that. There's measurement halfway up between the DO and the tip, then there's another one between the DO and the tail, and then there's one that goes about, no, actually it's here. There's 150 millimeters here, 150 millimeters there. So there's a bunch of things that need to make themselves work. But I think that before I even worry about all that, and I get these two mounted together properly, it's just gonna get the grip and it's gonna go from there. I'm worrying about the aesthetics later. Yeah. That is where we are on the carbon fiber countervail Airglider countervail, the Nordic OTE. I'm not sure what we're calling this thing yet, but we're getting there. So pull this back in. Stay safe, throw far, take care of yourselves, take care of each other.